Dignity Matters.
Welcome back here to the Fog of War and Humanity here on HMTV. I'm Richard Acritelli. I'm your host, and we're getting into our fourth episode with Donna. Her two deployments that were almost back to back. She comes home to Long Island. She eats a little bit of jerk chicken, right? Yeah. Sees her mom, sees her friends. She gets to rest a little bit, but quickly she goes right back to Iraq. She's there for just about a year. Now she comes back home a couple more months when it comes to her own military time. So what were those feelings that you had when you finally leave active duty?
I felt accomplished. I accomplished at least one tour, active duty tour. And I served my country. I got deployed,
Twice,
Iraq. And, that chapter was over.
Did they give you a debriefing?
They did.
So as you're leaving,
out processing.
What did they ask you about the war itself? Did they ask you, is there things that we could have done better for you or anything like that? Or is there things that we could have done a little bit better for your time overseas? I know you're not going to Disneyland.
I think they had a Q&A, but, some things they could have done better. It's hard to say because I think maybe that's why they did it for the second deployment. During the first deployment, they had a lot of people who was not deployable to get deployed, and they said the second deployment, you either had to be deployed or get medically chaptered out on active duty. I can only talk about active duty side of the house in my division. I can't speak about the other locations, but that was different. Maybe that's something different they wanted to do from the first deployment to the second deployment.
Okay. So now,
because actually, that you mentioned that was the first deployment. It was a soldier who was pregnant. During most of during the months during we deployed, she was pregnant and she had a baby and she never came. But the second deployment was another soldier who was pregnant and she was out X amount of months. She stayed in garrison, but the last 2 or 3 months she came to us, like the last 3 months after having the baby. That I remember.
What was it like for her to be away from her newborn?
I guess it would have been hard because having a newborn baby, being away, you have to find, I guess, like guardianship of your baby or a minor.
That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
You're under Uncle Sam.
Right.
They have a lot of authority over you as well, right? Yeah. So, and I would, I have 3 daughters. I would think that a mother with a newborn, that's got to be a tough,
it's hard.
Tough situation.
Yeah.
Okay. You leave Georgia. Where do you go?
I relocate back to New York. And before I came to New York, they out-processed me, and I went to the Department of Labor in Georgia. And they told me when I go back to New York to go to the Department of Labor, they'll have like a veteran liaison to help you with your jobs and this and that, which I did do. But it was like a job, looking for a job for employment.
The economy was not good.
Yeah.
Right?
2006, it was like I had to apply for unemployment for a couple of months, and then after I was applying for jobs all over, and then I got a job working in the Brooklyn School District as a teacher assistant. I mean, like a teacher assistant. I had to take a little test.
Sure.
And then I got a job also at the same time at the VA in Northport to work as a food service worker. But both of them were part-time, so it was making just one full-time job paycheck.
Sure.
But it wasn't something what I really wanted to do, but it was something I had to get some type of income. Instead of being on unemployment for it.
And living on Long Island, and expensive. And at that time, the economy, the bubble was about to burst in 2008, right? The economy goes down. I think the economy was kind of leveling off at that point, 2005, 2006, because I've had students at that time, when they graduated college 4 years later, there was no jobs for them. It was a very, very tough time. So now you have your struggles, right? You go on 2 deployments back to back. You come back, you want to work, you want to get paid, you want to pay your own bills, right? I would think that was not an easy situation.
Right. And and when I came back, I in process to Northport, VA, and I was recommended to go to the vet center. And after that, I heard about the Dwyer Project got established later on after that time.
Now, did you have PTSD at that time?
Yeah, when I came back from the first war, I had PTSD, what I had saw and the experience I went through.
And then your second deployment, does it just get worse after that?
I would say it's about the same.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Teaching in the schools, working in the schools, you're busy, you're running around. What school were you in?
Brentwood School District.
No, I know that, but like elementary, middle, high school? Elementary. So you're busy running after the kids, keeping them on task. At any time, did any of the PTSD come back to you? Was there things that hit you, or were you just busy at that time there?
I was busy at that time. I was fortunate enough to meet a teacher. She had a picture of someone like in a fireman, and I asked her who was that, and then she also had like a bracelet, killing action bracelet, and she said that was her brother during 9/11.
Wow. So, and that had so you had a connection to her.
Right.
Your military service, and then her loss, right? So, all right. So now you were mentioning that you had gone to Colombia.
Right.
So, did your GI Bill change because of the post 9/11 GI Bill, right?
Because I had to pay into it when I was active duty in order to get the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Okay.
For a year.
So what makes you go to Colombia then?
Well, I applied and I had applied to I was going to teachers college as a non-matriculated student because I had applied before and it was hard to get into. So I took like a backdoor entrance as a non-matriculated student and I applied. And I got in on my third time when I applied.
All right.
It took a while, but I got it.
Columbia's a tough school, right? Yeah. So what was it like to go to school there? You're in the Ivy League, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I went for school for social work, and it was hard because, they recommend you don't work, and I had to work because at that time I still worked for New York State Office of Mental Health, but I used to work the evening shift, but when I wanted to resume my studies, I had to work the graveyard shift, and that was hard. Going to school, taking a full class, load of class, going to field placement for 21 hours a week, and then working 40 hours a week. It was a lot.
Wow. And, you got to do what you have to do also, right?
And I had, during my first year, I took academic classes. That was it. I wanted to extend my program a little bit. And then the second year, I went for field placement and academic, and then I had a bad experience with my field placement at Phoenix House, and she wasn't very nice as far as accommodating with me, with my disabilities. And then they were trying to find a field placement for me, but it was hard because Columbia University is based in New York City, so they have a lot more field placement and stuff in New York City than out here in Long Island. And it took them a while to get one for me. And then I went on one, but I didn't do well on it because I didn't do well on the interview, because that's something they teach you.
Sure.
So they recommended that I take a leave of absence and volunteer at a hospital or do some friendly companion, and then having that bad experience with my PTSD, so I took like a 2-year leave absence, and I had to try to put like a professional portfolio of what I did during my leave of absence to build my portfolio to show the university what I did during the 2 years I walked from school.
Was it tough? Because here you're a college student, you're in Farmingdale.
Then I went to SUNY Westbury.
SUNY Old Westbury, but then you go active duty, and then you're overseas a couple of times. Then you come home, and then you end up in Colombia. Right. So your study skills must have been down a little bit, right? It must have been tough to get back into the swing of things, right? So give you a lot of credit. It's not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult. Right. So now you graduate from Columbia. What year?
May of 2017.
Good for you. Yeah. What was that feeling like?
It was good because I had to take a 2-year leave of absence due to my PTSD, and then I was kind of scared, a little nervous going back because I didn't want to go through that bad experience again. But I said I have to do it, and I did it. It was hard, but I'm glad I accomplished that, and it was tough, but I did it.
You did do it, right? And it's a good thing.
Right.
And where was your graduation, in the city?
It was in the city. Because like various schools, they have the major one at the University of Columbia, and then they have.
It was good that you had that before COVID.
Yeah.
Because you had this unbelievable experience, right?
Yeah.
You have all your military experience. You're overseas. You're doing your job, and then about 10 years later, you go to Columbia, which is another outstanding experience, right?
Right.
And you've said a couple of times, I have disabilities and this and that and so on, right? Which are challenges, but you overcame those challenges, right? You deserve a lot of credit. You really do, right? Right? It doesn't always have to look pretty, but you got the job done, right?
Right.
Right? So, and who was at Columbia when you were there, when you were graduating?
My mom, my niece, and two of my mentors and friends, and they were my tutors as well when I was going to Columbia. And then that's it.
You look back, that's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you still got a big smile on your face, right? That's
somewhat, yeah. It was, the 2 year, maybe at the time I didn't really want to take the 2 year leave, but maybe it happened for the best that I do that. I didn't graduate with the original cohorts, but I went back and I met some amazing people from all walks of life, international students and people from other parts of the United States. I was fortunate enough even to meet two people while I was at Columbia. One, the first time, he actually did 10 years in state prison, and he went to Columbia University, got his degree. And then the other one, I took a 2 year leave of absence. I went back. I met another student. He was an accomplice to murder, and he served 19 years in prison, and he graduated with me at Columbia.
wow.
So I like with social work, the transformation of people,
Now, any military graduates that you ran into?
Actually, I didn't meet one. He was a Marine Corps veteran. He was actually in charge of the editorial paper of the school of social work. So I was happy to see that I had another veteran. He was in the Marine Corps and he served overseas. Graduate with me.
Did you guys have a little camaraderie?
Well, I would say hello, hi, in there, but I didn't really know him because I used to go 1 day a week.
Sure.
So
you're getting all your stuff done in that one day?
Yeah, I used to maximize my time, take classes, go to writing center, use the academic center.
Where were you living? Were you in
Bayshore?
In Bayshore at the time?
I used to take the Long Island Road,
which is a journey in itself, right?
And then after that, take the A train uptown to 125th Street and then walk.
Okay. So now I see that you have your running shirt on, your 4K and your 8K.
Yeah.
What is the Achilles?
Achilles International is a team, an organization that takes everybody, inclusive. They take everybody, but they also have a section where they deal with people with various types of disabilities, physical, and they have another section of Achilles called Achilles Freedom Team, and that's with veterans. So I belong to both, and they have the main chapters in New York City, but they opened a chapter here in Cedar Creek where we meet once a week on Saturdays at Cedar Creek Park, and it's a great organization. Who run it? The captains. There's no office where they have in Long Island. We just meet at Cedar Creek Park. The main office is in New York City.
Okay, and that's a special. Has that developed into a special place for you?
Yeah, actually, I participated in the New York City Marathon 3 years in a row, annual one. But I walked it. It took me like 10 hours.
Doesn't matter, right? You got to cross that finish line.
And usually, with races and stuff, like the New York City Half, the Marine Corps Marathon, various other types of marathons, like the Chicago Marathon.
Did you do those also?
I only did the New York City Half and the Marine Corps Marathon with the 10K. But usually,
is that down in Washington or Quantico?
Washington. Well, it starts in Arlington. It ends in it starts in Washington D.C. and ends in Arlington and Virginia.
You being a veteran,
they usually veterans as far as with races to see that
sure
applications as far as in general.
But you being a veteran and you're doing that and you're going past those historic landmarks, it's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
And you got to know a little bit more history than you think because you've been around the world and back and then again, right?
I hope to do the Army 10 miler. I did it virtually, but I would like in the future to do the one in person.
Where is that?
2 weeks. It's 2 weeks before the Marine Corps Marathon.
Where do they do that, down in Washington?
Yeah, Washington.
Okay. And you did R at the VFW Post
The VFW
649?
Post, yeah. That was nice. Was it Joseph Dwyer? Peer support group was well put together. And
did you like the course?
The course was nice, yeah.
Yeah. A little rough, right?
Yeah, a little rough, but it was nice. I was saying, like as far as the Joseph Dwyer project, I remember that, and I took the course to be like a peer mentor, bridger. A peer mentor, the course during the COVID. But like doing the research and stuff, what I was doing now, I knew he was a veteran, but I didn't know like he was local from Long Island. And in addition to that, he was a medic, and I didn't know that we were the same age, and then I didn't know he served in the same division as I did during the initial invasion of the war.
Sure.
You know, that's why I got that famous picture holding that little child, 5-year-old thing.
We did the statue for him.
Oh, you did?
In the town.
I was I saw it in the paper.
The bronze statue, yeah.
I saw that in the online, but I said I wanted to go visit and actually in person.
It's probably one of the most unique statues in America in terms of here you have this combat veteran, he's got this child. You could almost see it in his face that he's trying to get to somewhere safe and, during a very, very hard time. His family's great. His family is very, very good. And now, what other groups do you kind of?
I belong to I'm a VFW Life member. I belong also to Veterans of Peace. I belong to the AMVETS. I just recently joined the DAV, and I belong to the Wounded Warrior Project, Team Rubicon, Team Red, White, and Blue, Achilles. Like I said, I belong to various organizations. I also belong to like Exit 12, the dance company. They do like theater and stuff.
Okay.
At the Intrepid, where they bring in like things through like war from like medieval literature as war, and then like through the current war.
So you stay busy then, huh? Yeah. Is that good for your mind to stay busy?
I mean, I belong to also veteran writing workshops through Fordham University, New York University, and Columbia. They have the veteran writing workshops, which is good. And also, I had belonged to the Bards Initiative out here in Long Island. They do like poetry and stuff.
My last question: you have a wealth of experience. You really do, right? Yeah. Not only in the military, but combat, civilian side, education, right? Mm. So you go from being that kid that's struggling in high school to Farmingdale to Old Westbury, right? To overseas. Then you go back to school in terms of Columbia. When you're talking to somebody, and let's say it's a veteran and they're going through hard times, and it's most likely PTSD, what is like a word of advice that you would like to give them?
I'll tell them like to reach out for help, someone that you could trust, whether it be another veteran or an organization that you might think. It might be something that they might need, something like a service dog is a very big thing.
Do you have a service dog?
No, I don't have a service dog.
Are you going to look to get one, or you just don't feel as though you need it?
Because I don't think I could commit to that because it's like a job. But I know the service dogs are very helpful for the veterans. And other things like, say, music therapy, art therapy. It depends on what fits the veteran.
What therapy do you take that helps you out a little bit?
I like cycling. I like doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which I did that for like almost a year.
Did you do that this morning, or?
Yeah, I did this morning.
Sure.
I actually got a scholarship through the We Defy Foundation, through Wounded Warrior Project, and then another mentor of mine, Patrick Donahue, had told me about try the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I said, all right, I'll try it. That's on my things to listen. I did try it. So I did got the year scholarship. I passed it. And I just got my blue belt last December. So I'm glad. It's a different type of art. And I feel like when I'm on the mat, like I'm at a different atmosphere.
Sure.
Running. So it's good. And it's good cardio. It's a good workout.
Yeah.
Keeping active and
body and mind, right?
Mind, yeah. Like cycling, kayak, anything you could think of to do something to keep your mind.
Where do you live now? Are you still
Bayshore.
in Bayshore there? Any kids,
No.
married? Or?
I was married. I was divorced, and then
Okay.
I had a son, but I had a complication with my pregnancy, and I lost my son. He was born on the birthday of the Marine Corps birthday on November 10th, and he died on Veterans Day the next day.
I'm sorry to.
Yeah.
But you definitely, you kind of know adversity a little bit,
Yeah.
and you keep on rolling, right? That's something that's important, and when you're looking at this podcast that we do, and you're looking at, I have about maybe 100 podcasts right now, and I get a lot of veterans, and they always give some great advice. They have unbelievable experiences, and they really do make this place.
And I think it's what you make out of it. Like the Northport VA is a good place, but some veterans don't like it. And I know at first one of the counselors told me to try journaling, which was at first hard, but I find after it's therapeutic.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for coming down here
Thank
today.
you for
I
having me.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Please join us again here on HMTV and the Fog of War and Humanity. Have a wonderful day.